And anything you put in the chat is not going to be viewable on the recording. It's only viewable by us, your counselors. So today we're going to be going over the graduation requirements, how to pick out your classes for college and career planning, talk a little bit about how we're moving to semesters, and then we'll talk about how to pick out each class based on each subject, and then how to enter your request on Infinite Campus, and we'll have some Q&A at the end. Make sure you take a look at the handout that I put in the chat box, because that will have all of our links that I put in here. Those will be viewable. So I would recommend having the course list available. Make sure you have your Infinite Campus up, and then the webinar handouts right there. I also put that in the chat since you guys can't actually click my links here. So let's talk about graduation requirements. This should be a review for our students. You need 21 total course credits and 1 internship credit. But what I always say is that it's not just about the credits themselves. It's not how many credits, it's which credits. So you could have 45 credits of art and you're not going to graduate. You need to have 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, 3 credits of science, and 3 credits of social studies. And you do need to have the very specific courses for those subjects. You have to have physical science, you have to have a biology and an advanced science, and then you have to have world history, US history, and government. And then we require an additional academic elective, which is an additional science or social studies. You have to have a half credit of PE, which is 2 semesters, which is PE1 and PE2. You have to have a half credit of health. And remember, a half credit of health is a semester, but a half credit of PE is 2 semesters. I don't know why Ohio does it that way. That's just the way that they do it. You have to have a credit of fine arts, a credit of technology, and 3 general electives. And remember, a general elective is anything above and beyond the requirements I just mentioned. So if you took 2 credits of fine arts, 1 of those fine arts will count as an elective. World languages counts as electives. And then if you are planning on going to college, we recommend following the Diploma of Distinction or Ohio Honors Diploma requirements, which are the graduation requirements in addition to, you can use your 3 electives as your 3 years of the same foreign language. So like Spanish 1, 2, and 3, French 1, 2, and 3, ASL 1, 2, and 3. And then taking the additional science and social studies. So I'm going to use this like super fancy pointer. Get ready. Okay. So instead of using just 1 academic elective, you would have an additional science and social studies. And then if you wanted that state honors diploma, sorry if you can hear my kid crying in the background. He's not very happy right now. You can do the honors diploma, which is an additional GPA or ACT score requirement. We recommend continue with all of your core credits, all 4 years of high school. So even if you're done with math, your 4 credits of math by your junior year, we recommend taking a math year senior year. That helps keep you on track for being college ready. So imagine trying to go into a college math class without having taken math for a year or 2. So we definitely recommend doing that. It also shows colleges that you're keeping the rigor of your coursework up. Challenge yourself with rigorous coursework, but within reason. And don't extend yourself beyond what you can keep up with. And then pursue the things that you love. So, if you're really interested in music, take music classes. If you're really interested in technology, take technology classes. It's free education, so might as well take advantage of it, right? If you're planning on going to a career center, so if you're in 9th grade right now and you are planning on doing career center in the future, possibly, I'd recommend getting the fine arts, health, and PE out of the way by the time you're done with 10th grade to make space in your schedule, because you'll only get 4 classes your junior and senior year at Whetstone if you're doing Fort Hays. Okay, I was going to pass this over to Ms. Schwab. All right, Ms. Schwab, your mic is on.
Hello. There are going to be a few changes going into next year. Next year, all of our major courses are going to be semesterized. So what that means is currently your core classes such as your English, your math, your history, your science, a lot of your electives, you take them 4 9 weeks, you take an exam, and then you get a final grade. And that grade would be a full credit grade. Next year, when we go to semesters, you're going to take them first quarter, second quarter, then get a semester grade, like a half credit. So let's say you take English first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks. On your transcript, it'll say English 10, 0.5 credits with a semester grade. Then you're going to take it third 9 weeks and fourth 9 weeks, and then get another half of a credit to add up to that full credit. So where now you either pass English or fail English or math or whatever class you're taking, now we have that chance of, hey, you might pass first semester but not second semester. You might pass second semester and not first semester. So that is something we need to look at. Also, how it's going to impact with the scheduling is you have to schedule both semester classes. So we're going to show you that later as we get on. So if you would fail, let's say, first semester, you would have to either retake one semester or do that in VCAP. So that is a major change that Columbus City Schools are going to for next year. Also, if you've previously failed a class, please plan on going to summer school to take it up. That is the easiest and fastest way to get that class done and made up and back on grade level. We haven't had any summer school information come out yet, but as soon as we do, I will give it to you, especially if you're going into your senior year. You don't want to go into your senior year having to worry about passing all of your classes, doing everything you need to graduate, and then add on top of that, let's try to make classes up. So if you have failed a class in the past, please plan on going to summer school to make that up. In the past, our summer schools have been, you've had the option of doing VCAP, and then at some locations, they actually have had a traditional classroom where there has been an instructor teaching you for 6 to 8 weeks the material, so you could look at it either way. And like I said, when we get that material, we will send it out. Also, if you're planning on doing CCP, which is College Credit Plus next year, whether at Whetstone High School itself or on a campus somewhere, and you have not turned in your intent to participate form, it is due by April 1st. If you haven't turned it in, please, you can take a picture and send it to any of the counselors. You can scan it, send it to any of the counselors, anything like that. Just get it to us, please, by April 1st. And lastly, remember, when we are putting into these course requests, they're not guaranteed. A lot of things can happen between now and the beginning of next year, such as it might like the one elective you really want might overlap with an AP class that you really want, things like that. That's why when we ask you, we do ask you to give us additional options, just so if we can't get you in to what you've asked for, we can get you into something you would also like to take. Our goal is to get you what you ideally want to take, but at the same point, we're going to make sure you meet all the graduation requirements. So if you're going into your senior year and you don't put health down, but we know you need health as a graduation requirement, we are going to put health down as one of your courses, because we're going to make sure you have what you need to graduate. And also be careful. Don't pick classes just based on who the teacher is, if you think the class is easy or hard or anything like that, because things change. I mean, right now, we're not even sure who's teaching what class. Teachers change, teachers come and go. So please think about that when you're doing it. Also, don't pick classes because you're thinking, oh, these are easy classes, because ideally that's not what we want. We need you to challenge yourself. We need you to be ready to go to colleges. And these are things that colleges look for. They look at your schedules and what you're taking as your schedules. A few other factors we need to consider is if you are taking CCP classes, there is a maximum of 30 hours you can have per class, per year, and that starts in the summer. So starting June of this year, that's when those 30 hours would start. To figure out your hours, each class you take at Whetstone is considered to be, you multiply that times 3. So add up the classes you're taking, multiply it by 3, then you can add on top of that your college hours. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us where we can help you look at that, walk you through it, and that's something we do throughout the year is looking at that. Like we said before, please make up failed courses. Requesting is like voting. You can put in what you want. We can't guarantee you everything. That's why we ask for alternates and backups. We will do our best. Also, be careful when you're trying to challenge yourselves. We want you to challenge yourself, but don't get over ambitious and take all AP, CCP classes and then find out that you have overwhelmed yourself. That puts a lot of pressure on you, and we don't want to see you having to drop classes, especially CCP classes and things like that. So we recommend no more than 4 college level classes at a time, and that's whether they're taken at our school and at the campus. Okay. At this point, we are not 100% sure when classes are offered. The administration is still working on that. We do know what courses are going to be offered. We don't know when and where. As far as if you do go to the Career Center, they do make sure that you are going to be able to get the classes you need, such as a math, a science, and English, a history, in there during the time you're going to be at our school. You might not get to take the exact elective you want or a certain CCP class, but you will get the classes that you will need to take going in to make sure you graduate. Also, like it says here, don't just pick an elective because your friends are taking it. Pick an elective that you want to take. If you're someone that's interested in art, please take art classes. Don't turn around and say, I love art, but my friend's going to be in the choir, so we're going to go to the choir. Take classes that you're interested in. It's going to make your years at Whetstone go by a lot better, and you're going to enjoy it more. When we're going through this, there are going to be 7 classes you're going to need to pick, and then you're going to pick 2 alternates. You have to pick an English, you're going to have to pick a math, a science, a social studies. If you've not taken PE and health, please pick your PE and health. Then you're going to pick 2 electives that you would like to take, okay? If you're going to the Career Center, put all of your electives as alternatives. That way, if something changes between now and next year, we still know what you would like to take at Whetstone High School, so we're not picking courses for you. If you do go to the Career Center, you will take your 4 core classes, your English, your math, your science, and your history at Whetstone. Same thing, if you're doing CCP classes and you're looking at taking them all at Columbus State or at a high state or whatever you're looking at going, please still pick your courses and put them in as alternates. That way we know if something changes between now and next year, we know what classes that you would like to take with us, and we can make sure you get scheduled for what you like to take. When you're looking at our Columbus State classes, remember our Columbus State classes at Whetstone, they're worth a full credit, but they're only a semester long. So don't overfill your schedule with a lot of them. So for example, if you want to take your Composition 1 class, that's only 1 semester. You will get a full credit of English, but it is 1 semester. Then you have that chance second semester to take Composition 2, and that would be an additional English class. If you're going to downtown, please enter your credits as alternatives. That way, again, if something changes, we know how to put it in. For now, as far as study halls and the senior-only options of early leave, late arrival, that's something we will put in once the school starts. That's not right now available for you to put in. That's something we can put in once school starts next year, and if you're approved for the early leave or the late arrival, we can put it in.
Okay, how's everyone doing? Can we see some, click the green check mark if you're good to move forward. Take a look at those reaction buttons, let us know. Awesome, awesome. Okay, looks like we are good. If you have questions along the way, go ahead and put them in the chat and we can answer those at the end. There are a couple people already responded to just because they were little quick questions. So if you have questions as we go for it. And then Mr. Agee is going to talk about this. Let me find you.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so now to just get into the core subjects. So again, with English, there are 4 credits of English that are required in order to graduate. So your first 2 years are pretty self-explanatory and you really only have 2 options. So coming in as a freshman, you are either taking English 9 or you are in the humanities block taking humanities English 9. So then if you're a freshman, if you're in English 9, you're going on to English 10. Whereas if you were in humanities English 9, you're going on to humanities English 10 more than likely. After that, you have a couple more options. So going into your junior year, you have English 11 as an option. You also have AP English as an option. And then you also have the 2 Columbus State CCP English courses. And those are English Comp 1 and Comp 2. And then going into senior year, then you have the option to take your English 12 or then also the Columbus State English courses if you didn't take those your junior year. So for example, if you were in English 10, then you moved on to English 11, you could take the CCP English your senior year, or if you decided to take CCP English your junior year, then you could have the option to just then go into English 12 your senior year. So there's a couple different options that they can be kind of interchanged and mix and match to a degree. You can go to the next slide, Megan. Okay, so now for math credits, again, you need 4 credits minimum to graduate. And again, if like Mrs. Brodegum had said before, we recommend that you take at least 1 math every year, even if you have earned your 4 math credits before your senior year. So going into next year, for sophomores, if you were in integrated math 1, then your options for math 2 would be taking either integrated mathematics 2 or the integrated math 2 and 3 block, which is 2 periods. After that, going into your junior year, the options you have for math 3 could be either integrated math 3 or the Columbus State College Bridge math 3 if you had previously taken the math 2 and 3 blocks. Some of the different options for math 4. One of the new classes that we're offering next year is the modeling and reasoning course, which that has essentially replaced advanced qualitative reasoning, or as you might know it as AQR. There's also pre-calculus as an option for a more advanced mathematics course, and then also the CCP math courses that will be available. And again, an important thing to remember with the CCP math courses is that each semester is 4 CCP hours. So that's just something to consider when you are looking at your max credit hours and something good to keep in mind. And then for an additional math, if you're wanting to have a 5th math course, you could have AP Calculus or get another additional CCP math course. You can move on. Okay, for your sciences, so there are a couple different options for the pathway depending on how you start out your freshman year. So to start, if you took physical science your 9th grade year, then sophomore year you would move on to biology, and then for your junior year you would take an advanced science. And again, if you wanted to take an additional science to fulfill that academic elective, there are all these different options for advanced sciences over on the right. So again, with all of these, you are pretty free to pick and choose which ones you want to take. One thing to consider is if you took biology your freshman year and then you went into chemistry your sophomore year, that is counting as a physical science. And then for your junior and senior years, you would take 1 or 2 additional advanced sciences as well. And there are 2 CCP options that we will have with the chemistry and the biology class as well. Just check in real quick, because I just want to make sure that I'm not going through too fast. So if everyone could just put a thumbs up or a check mark yes, that this is flowing pretty good and everyone's on the same page and I'm not moving too quickly. Okay, perfect. We can move on to social studies then. Okay, social studies is probably the most cut and dry. Your freshman year, you're either in Modern World History 9 or the Humanities 9 block taking Modern World History, and then moving on to your sophomore year, American History 10 or the Humanities 10 American History if you were in Humanities the previous year. And then moving into your junior year, you will be taking either American Government or the AP Government class. So 9th grade through junior years, it's pretty structured and it's pretty set in stone what you'll be taking for the most part. And then moving into your senior year, the different social studies electives that you can take, either to have just an additional 4th social studies or to use as your academic elective. The different options are the globalization class, African American history, law, which is a semester class this year, which was a change from this school year, and then also psychology and sociology. They were lumped in as a year class, and now they're separated as semester courses this coming school year. And then for the CCP options, we still have the psychology 1100 class, sociology, and the U.S. history CCP course as well. You can move on. Okay. So now for the PE and health requirements. So for the physical education, you need 0.5 credits, and that will come from PE1 and PE2, since they are 0.25 credits each. And just to note that the career centers do not offer physical education. And then for health is a semester course, and you need a half credit of health for graduation. And just to make a note for the PE waiver, if you have participated in a sport for 2 full seasons or you have been in marching band for 2 years, then you can apply for this PE waiver. And so how the PE waiver works is that you do not actually receive credit for it, but you are essentially exempted from the course, and then you have to make up that 0.5 credit in any other elective of your choosing, which that would not be, and that does not include health as well, as we've had questions with that before. Regardless of whether you've received the PE waiver or not, you would still need to have and fulfill that health requirement. All right, and I will turn this over to Ms. Schwab now.
Okay, so as we talked before, and when you're looking at what you need for graduation, you need a credit in fine arts to graduate. All of these classes will make up your fine arts credit. So if you're looking for classes that are in fine arts, there are 3 categories that we're looking at: the visual arts, the music, and the theater. And the classes for looking at the visual arts, you've got photography, you've got computer graphics, you've got art survey, and then you've got, after you take those 3, those would be our entry level classes that you can take without any prerequisites, okay? And then after that, if you would like to take art 2, 3, 4, 5, or our ceramics, you would need to take art survey. That's a prerequisite. Now, art survey is broken up into 2 semesters. The first semester is about the skills, and then the second semester is about the history. So when you sign up for that class, you will be signing up for art survey skills and the art survey history class. Then we also have the music. We've got music survey, which is, again, very similar to the art survey. It's 2 semesters. The first semester is about the skills of the music, and the second semester is about history. You do not need any type of musical background to take that class. This is an entry-level class. Then you've got music theory. Then the following music classes make you perform. You have to perform these classes. Basic instrumental music, that's an intro to, like, if you wanted to look at maybe participating in the marching band at some point, but you're not real confident with an instrument. That class will teach you more about playing instruments. Then you've got the marching band, handbells, orchestra, jazz band, and jazz band is audition only. You would have intro to choir, which that is for anyone who would like to take a chorus class. You do not have to audition or anything for your mixed course. Now, the mixed ensemble, you do have to audition with Miss McAllister to get into that class. And we have our theater classes. Theater survey, just like the other surveys, are 2 semesters long. First semester just talks about the production, and the second semester talks about the performance. Then after we have our theater classes, that is a prerequisite for anything else in the theater program. So if you're someone that is very interested in theater, I strongly suggest taking the theater survey so you can move on and up in the theater courses. Then you have acting 1, then acting 2, and then theater seminar, which is like an acting 3 class. Next page. Okay. Like we said before, world languages, those are counted as general electives. World languages are not needed for graduation. So if you're looking at a basic just diploma to graduate, world languages are not needed. However, if you're looking at a college prep diploma, a diploma of distinction, an honors diploma, you do need world languages. A lot of colleges suggest they would like to see it either 3 years of the same language or 2 years of 2 different languages. So like either 3 years of Spanish 3 or 2 years of French. You take French 1 and French 2 for 2 years and pair it up with like American Sign Language 1 and American Sign Language 2. That's what a lot of the colleges are looking at. So we strongly suggest that you do take a foreign language. If you're sitting in Spanish 2 or French 2 or Sign Language 2 right now, and you are looking at that honors diploma, you need to take that 3rd level class. So that is something to consider when you're looking at signing up for a foreign language. We also do have some CCP ASL classes, which is our sign language classes that we do offer. Then that is at not Briggs, geez, that's where I used to teach, Whetstone High School. Okay, we also discussed how you do need a technology to graduate. You need at least 1 technology for graduation. Our technology classes have changed some since last year.
I can go over it too if you want.
I was going to let you just do the CCP part.
Okay, I'll do the CCP part.
And then we've got our Microsoft Office Suite, which is our MOS credentialing class. That class talks about a lot of the Microsoft Office, which is like the PowerPoint, Excel, Word, Access. Also, you get industry credentials during that test, that class. You take exams. Once you pass the exams, you do get an industry credential, which says you are certified, you are proficient in Word or Excel or PowerPoint. Then another nice thing about this MOS class is a lot of these credentials can now be used as some of the new graduation requirements that the state's putting out with the testing. So that you can get your technology credit and it can help you as far as state testing for graduation. We have our intro to multimedia, and then we have our intro to computer science, and then Ms. Brodigham's going to talk a little bit more about those classes in our CCP class.
Thank you. So Intro Multimedia, that's a new class that Ms. Bazinski is offering. It's going to go over things like podcasting, maybe things like webinars, so you can do a webinar even better than our super awesome webinar that we're doing right now. I think they're going to be doing some web design in there. As you see, web design is gone, so this class would be replacing that one. Intro to Computer Science. Some of you guys might remember when we had the Exploring Computer Science with Mr. Dobell a few years ago. We're kind of bringing that back. It's a really good intro course if you're not sure that you like programming, but it's something you want to explore more. You don't have to have any previous experience, well, really for any of these classes, but it doesn't assume that you know anything about computer science. And I know I've said this in emails and I've said this in presentations before, but especially now more than ever with everything going on, the need for highly skilled computer programmers and IT services, it's never been more apparent than it is now. And these options between the CCP credits count and the Intro to Computer Science and really all of these options, these would be a good stepping stone into those fields or into other industries that are going to be requiring more and more competency in technology. So the CCP credits count, I know it's confusing because it's credits count and it's College Credit Plus. So credits count is a program that's partially funded by AEP, and it's in partnership with Columbus State. So if you did the whole program, you would have 2 full years or 4 semesters of CCP technology classes completed. And those are the foundational courses for several, if not all, of Columbus State's computer science pathways, IT pathways, including cybersecurity and database management. And all of those pathways are highly sought after in Columbus right now, even before all of the shutdowns and things like that. Columbus has been a very, very good place to get into technology, and we're anticipating that need to increase significantly. I just heard in the governor's press conference earlier this week that they're expecting that industry especially to have a big boom after all of this is done. So if there's any chance that you're interested in those industries, I would definitely get into those. The credits count program also gives you the Moss industry credentials. It gives you access to different internships and apprenticeships. One of my former students who completed the program, she's actually going to be doing a summer program at out at Twitter, and she's probably going to be making more money than all of us combined. But yeah, it's an excellent career path if you're not really sure what you want to do. If you are interested in doing the credits count program, make sure you turn in the intent to participate form, since it is CCP, and you will have to apply to Columbus State if you haven't already done that, and you'll have to take the placement test and all of that, whereas the first 3 classes that are on there don't require the placement test. So if you guys want to go ahead and open up your student portal to Infinite Campus, we're going to go over how to enter your classes. You'll also need the course list up, so that way you can just see what all of the classes are, and we'll go through this together. Is everyone ready to move on and talk about the portal? Let's see a green check mark or a thumbs up, whatever, so that way I know that you're ready to go. So someone's asking, where do I get the course list? If you go to the website in the chat, that tiny URL, if you guys can all see that, if you click that, there will be a link in there to both the student portal and to the course list. If you can't find any of that, you can always go to the Whetstone website and go to counseling, and then I think it's under scheduling, and you can view the course list there as well. Good question. Cool. All right. So let's see how this works. So I'm on a student portal. I'm gonna use my fancy pointer. Make sure you use your student username, which is your student ID number, and then your password is your birth date. Make sure that you use the 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year, and put a hyphen in between each of these instead of a slash. So if this were your birthday, you would do 03-24-2020. So once you're in there, on the left-hand side, you'll see more at the bottom. Here, I'm going to clear out all the check marks, and if you guys need me to slow down, there's a little button that says go slower. So as we go along, just hit the go slower and I'll slow down. Okay. Just click more. And then you click course registration. Whetstone. Okay, so first of all, don't worry about this bar. This progress bar is meaningless. It doesn't mean that you are any more or less done than any other point, and you're gonna make yourself crazy adding classes in there, and you're never gonna get to the progress complete. Don't know why it's there. It's kind of annoying, so just ignore it. So first things first, we're gonna click add course. Okay, and so now every class is gonna come up that we have. I've seen some students like scroll through alphabetically to find it, but I find that it's easier to just like start typing the course here, because then it'll shorten the list for you. So if you type English and then it pops up. So this student is in 10th grade, or going to go into 10th grade. So he's going to pick this little plus sign for English 10. You'll see there's English 10X, English 10Y. If you remember at the beginning, we talked about how every class is going to be split into 2 parts. So this is the part where you have to pick both X and Y. So first we're going to pick X, so I'm going to click the blue plus. And then I'm going to click request. So then it takes me back to this page, and then I'll repeat it for the English 10Y, and then repeat it for the other classes that I want to request. So math, English, science, social studies, PE, health, and then my electives. So see how it says 44% complete? It's meaningless, so don't worry about that. So now I've requested all of the classes, but I can't see them because I'm on the add course page. So if I click back, I should be able to see all of my requests. And then scrolling down, I can see my alternates. So you can request things as alternates on there. So there's a question asking, what does X and Y mean again? X is semester 1, Y is semester 2. Good questions. So see how the student picked out X and Y for everything? You can see math 2, biology, US history, and I couldn't fit it all on the same screen when I did the screenshot. So here's the second half. We've got health and PE, Spanish 1, and then this student was kind of wanted to mix and match some of the surveys. So that was theater survey and visual art survey. Those are some of the only classes that you can kind of mix and match. Everything else is going to be a year long. It's like PE, health, and then the surveys are mixed and matchable. And then he picked 2 year-long courses to act as alternates in case these don't work out. But now that we look at the whole list, it's like, okay, I actually don't want Spanish, I actually wanted French. So how do we do that? So I'm seeing a question in the chat, so I'm going to look at that. Okay, lots and lots of questions on here about the math 2 and 3 block. If you cannot find it, we have a link at the end or on the webinar handout. Math 2 and 3 block for some reason isn't going to show up on your end. So you're just going to either email us, or if you use the Google form that we'll have at the end, you can just request and we'll add it on our end for you. I don't know why math 2-3 isn't working for that. So don't enter anything for math, just put it in the forms. Okay, so if I want to change a request to an alternate or vice versa. So I click Spanish X. And then down here at the bottom, it says convert to alternate. Of course, my presenter tools are like right on top of the buttons, so I'm kind of guessing. Or for Spanish X, we deleted. So delete Spanish X. So you delete Spanish X and Y, so it's not here anymore. And then for French, we're gonna wanna convert those to a request. So you click French 1, and then convert to request. And then you get this little, yay, you did it notification. And if you wanted to switch it from a request to an alternate, you can do that right here as well. So if you want to see all of your requests in one list, you can actually click the print button down there and it'll organize it for you a little bit nicer. Just because sometimes this comes up in the order you requested it instead of this nice, X and Y order. And then you get this document. It'll have your name at the top and your ID number. And at the bottom, it'll have a space for parent signature. We don't need a parent signature. That's just what the system gave us. Okay, I'm gonna let Mr. Agee and Ms. Schwab have mic access, and we'll check the chat here in a second for questions. And I'm gonna put this link in the chat box for you if you have other classes that you wanted to add that you're having trouble adding. Let's see, Mr. Agee and Ms. Schwab. Okay, you guys are unmuted.
Perfect.
Chat. Okay, so one student asked about taking PE over the summer.
I can answer that. You can take PE over the summer. I do know it is limited on the schools that offer it, and it's not offered as a VCAP class. So you will have to take it at a school location. It's usually 2 or 3 schools that throughout the district that will have it over the summer at their school.
Okay, and then so if you were and then there's a question about how to put CCP courses into the course sign up. I'll answer that one. If you are taking a course at Whetstone, that's a CCP course, you can actually search that class and it should show up. If it doesn't show up, then please use this website. I'm gonna take off the pointer. I'm gonna put it in the chat for everyone. So it's a little bit easier to get to. It's also in the handout. So if you're signing up for a CCP course at Whetstone, you can put it in your request, same as normal. Just make sure you turn in your intent to participate forms in your application. And then for if you're taking it off-site, you can you'll have to request those classes directly from the college, and I have the registration information on the webinar handout as well for how to access that. See, Mr. Agee, how many college hours is a VCAP?
Say that again.
How many college hours is a VCAP?
For CCP, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm. Like CCP max credit hours, I think is what they're asking.
Oh, so for each class, it would just be, well, it depends on if it's a full credit or if they're taking a half credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're taking health, for example, it would be 0.5 credit towards your 30 max once you get the, well, in total to your other high school courses.
Yeah. And multiplied by 3.
Yeah.
And then how do we register for summer courses?
No, usually the way registration for summer courses have worked is around the end of April, they'll send us out the course requests or where all the courses are going to be given throughout the district and what courses are going to be given at each location. They also put it on the Columbus City School website. And then to register, you have to actually go on to your Infinite Campus and then register through there. And usually that portal does not become open to register until after school is out. It's usually the first week in June that you can start registering for summer classes.
There's a question about government. Is it government or 11 government? It should just, there's only should be like one regular government option other than AP. Whichever one, I don't remember what the exact course title is. Sometimes it says 11 in some places, sometimes it doesn't, but 11th graders should definitely be taking the government class. Okay, who wants to answer this one? How do you know if you should take AP?
I can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, okay, I'm sorry. This question was kind of broken up. Okay, how do you know if you should take AP government or regular government?
I would suggest emailing your history teacher, whoever you have for American history. They're usually a pretty good judge on whether they think you can handle the curriculum with AP government. I've always told students a couple things you have to make sure you remember. I always encourage students to take AP and to challenge themselves. I think it's a great option. There is summer work involved, so that is something to take into consideration. And once you register, so that's why I would make sure you talk to your previous teacher, whoever you had for history, and say, I'm thinking about taking AP government. What are your thoughts? They'll be able to give you a good idea of whether they feel that's a good course or not.
Yeah, you can always ask to see the syllabus too. Like if you want to get an idea, if you're like trying to decide, which classes to prioritize for AP or CCP, you can ask to see the AP syllabus. The current AP teachers have those already created. And their contact information is all on the school website.
Yes, and Miss Lewis is our AP government teacher, so if you'd like to email her and ask for the syllabus, she could provide that to you.
Good questions.
Yeah. Let's see. You're welcome. Someone says thanks. You're welcome. Is there a list in the different classes that we can take on campus at Columbus State? List of classes that we can take on campus at Columbus State.
Do you want me to answer that?
Sure.
You can get a list of classes that are given at Columbus State. You have to go through the Columbus State webpage. If you go to their webpage and then if you select academics and then course offerings, there is a lot, so I would always narrow it down into something you're interested in, whether it's like a psychology class, English class, some to that nature, to narrow it down a little bit more. And it will come up with when the class is being offered, how many spots are left, the time, and everything that's involved in it.
Okay, a lot of questions just came flooding in. It sounds like some people are having trouble with the form that I linked in there. You do have to log in with your district account, just like you would with Google Classroom. So, see more questions about summer PE. You can take summer PE if you want. You do have to usually pay for summer PE. And then what's the deadline for scheduling or course requests?
I would try to have them in within the next 2 to 3 weeks, just so that gives us time to go through and double check everything and make sure you're scheduled for what you need. Remember, these are just requests, so if something comes up over the summer and you put in Spanish and you decided you really want to take French, you can always email us, and if French is still open, that is something we can switch. But I would say try to have them in within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions that we missed. How do you contact the counselors? Here, I can put our emails in the chat. Ms. Schwab, what's yours?
Mine is ASCHWAB6520 at columbus.k12.oh.us.
Sir AJ, you don't have any numbers in yours, I don't think.
Nope, mine's nice and easy. But yeah, email's definitely the best way. I know that we all are pretty good at checking it very frequently during normal school hours.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So for those of you watching the recording, thanks so much for watching.